Stupid as in you're calling the Canucks stupid for giving us Luongo, or stupid as in you're calling the Leafs stupid?
I'm calling the Leafs stupid.
Wow, I thought I'd never hear that. I tricked you. Sorry, go on.
It would be a stupid move for the Leafs.
I just wanted to hear Jake call the Leafs stupid.
Hey, I can fully admit that they have done some pretty dumbass things in the past.
But it's still considered a success by Jay. Brian Burke's 4-year tenure.
We're not getting into that because that's going to go on.
He calls
and
it
on.
a success, so it's still successful 4 years.
I think considering all that he has to deal with and everything he's acquired, I think he's done a pretty good job thus far. We're gonna see though, because this 48. I know it's only 48 games, but we're in the playoffs right now.
If the Leafs start 5-0, watch out, everybody.
And you know what?
We're 1/9 away from the playoffs.
Exactly. And you know what's funny? People make fun of the Leafs every single year. They make fun of the Leafs. Oh, they're 5-0, whatever. No. Now it counts. Now, if you're 5-0, you have a good chance.
This is the year where if you start off poor, any team, Detroit, Pittsburgh,
you're done.
LA, St. Louis, any team, if you start off 1-6, 2-9, you're done. You can't make that up.
There's no chance.
You've got 30 games left. You can't make it up.
No. I think the first 10 games for the Leafs in particular are very crucial. I think if they go 500 in the first 10 games, they're again, still their chances are not very good about making the playoffs. They need to be like 8-2 at least, in my opinion, for the Leafs, because they have so much competition. It's all in conference games, so you're facing Buffalo, Boston, Montreal.
So you're saying this isn't a year to rebuild? Many fans want the Leafs to blow it. It's going to be a 48-game season. Let's tank it. Let's get a draft pick, build the young core up. But you're saying go for the playoffs?
What I'm saying is there's 2 or 3 potential scenarios that can go through, depending on what Brian Burke does. Now, if he, like I was gonna say before, this is a very important season, as short as it is for him, for Brian Burke in particular, because this is the point where he decides. Nathan MacKinnon is in the draft. It is easy to fall out of the playoffs. And he's got to be thinking, you're either going to start with a number 1 goalie or a number 1 center, or you're not, and you're going to gamble. But you can't gamble because Nathan MacKinnon is in the draft. If it was a weak draft, I would say go for the playoffs. Who cares? Go with what you have, draft where you will, but go for the playoffs and play your hearts out. It's tougher now because you have MacKinnon in the draft, but you also have Getzlaf and Perry in the summer. So are you... See, the thing is...
I think this is a perfect opportunity for the Leafs to tank the season.
That's what I think personally.
I think they should play Kadri and Fratton and Gardner as much as they can.
Colburn.
Play them as much as you can. Have a bad year. Try to sign Getzlaf or Perry. I'm not going to say they're going to get both. One, probably going to get neither. Brian Getzlaf's what they need. Go out, sign. Maybe you get Getzlaf, maybe you get Perry, one of them, and then maybe you're lucky enough to get a high pick, a Seth Jones, a Nathan MacKinnon. So
that is the best case scenario for the Leafs.
But I think the worst case scenario for the Leafs this year is to make the playoffs. Because if they make the playoffs, they're not going to get a high pick. They're going to be stuck as another mediocre team, and they still might not get Getzlaf or Perry.
But as a Toronto sports fan, specifically a hockey fan, do you even care if that's all that happens? Like, I'm sorry. For me, my ideal situation is they do not get Luongo, first of all.
Yeah, no.
They do not need Luongo. Maybe they do need Luongo if they had Getzlaf already, but they don't.
If you said Roberto Luongo had 5 years left on his contract, I would say, okay, I can deal with that. Have him until he's 38. We've done it with Belfour. We've done it with Cujo. I don't have a problem. He's got 10 years left.
I don't know if you can put Luongo in Belfour's class. Is Luongo,
neither won the Stanley Cup. Oh, no, Belfour.
No, Belfour won the Stanley Cup.
Dallas?
Yes, with Dallas. And Chicago, I think.
No, not Chicago.
Didn't he win with Chicago?
No, because Chicago had a really long streak. When they won it with Taves and Kane, they hadn't won it since like the 60s.
Right, exactly. Okay, so, but anyways, the point is Luongo that? No, I don't think he is. I don't think he's anywhere near Belfour. He's not a Hall of Fame goaltender. Not yet, anyways. But he's 33. If he's not a Hall of Fame goaltender yet.
If he's 30, do you do the deal?
For what, 10 years?
Yeah.
I would do the deal.
Because after 6 years, it's probably going to start to he will.
But he's 36.
Yeah.
Think of it now. If he's 33 now,
yeah,
like in 5 years, like
I just don't see why the Leafs should take on another team's problem. You can see Roberto Luongo's a problem to the Canucks. They have a young rising goalie in Corey Schneider. Why should Toronto take Bobby Lou on and bail Vancouver out by giving them a prospect or a draft pick or whatever it's going to be, and then be stuck with it?
It's not going to be just a prospect or a draft pick, because, I mean, I've been hearing, lots of people from TSN and Sportsnet, they have, Bozak's been mentioned, Tyler Bozak, Nazem Kadri, pick. Like, I'm sorry. I know he's good, but he hasn't won anything ever.
He was close.
He was close. He was one.
He's as close as you can get.
He's as close as you possibly could get without winning. But is that good enough to give up part of your future? Which, I mean, sorry, Nazem Kadri is important to the Leafs.
If Toronto had more pieces, I mean, they have Kessel and they have Lupul and Grabowski's a nice second line center. But let's just say you have Getzlaf at center, for example, and then you have another good scoring, maybe Van Riemsdyk turns into a high-scoring winger for this team, and you say, oh, you know what, we're a goalie away from being a serious contender. I mean, look at Jonathan Quick last year.
That's when
he was huge down the road. The Leafs aren't there yet.
I know.
Do you want a 33-year-old goalie for this team?
At this stage? No.
They'll win now, but I don't think it's going to benefit them if they win now.
No, it won't. There's no way. It's not going to benefit them, and the way, okay, this is what I'm thinking. Assuming that they're playing well, never mind Luongo, but let's say they're playing well and they're in a playoff position. I say, if I'm Burke, I call Brian Murray, that's the GM of Anaheim, call him up, and I say, I ask him flat out, are you re-signing Perry and Getzlaf?
That's probably the only benefit Toronto has, is that they have a good relationship.
They have a good relationship, but he did fleece him a couple of times, so I don't know if he wants to deal with him. But no, listen, hey, assuming they're in a playoff position by April 5th, which is the trade deadline for this shortened season.
Sorry, go on.
If they are in that position, and I say he calls Brian Murray and he says, are you gonna trade them? Or are you gonna sign them? And if he isn't planning on signing them, Burke says, I'll make you an offer for a sign and trade then. And I know Burke has not really done sign and trades before, but
that's unrealistic, because put yourself in Corey Perry's shoes, put yourself in Ryan Getzlaf's shoes. But are you going to sign with, if you're dealt at the deadline, are you going to say, wow, I've been in the league 6-7 years, I'm going to give that up to sign with the Leafs at the trade deadline? No, you're going to say, I'll go to Toronto, I'll play half a year.
But he's going to get the same money no matter what.
And then I'm going to go and I'm going to explore the options. I'm going to explore who gives me the most money, because look at Brad Richards. Look at Ilya Kovalchuk. Okay. They enter the free agent market because they've earned it and they want dollars. Look at Ryan Suter, Zach Parise.
So then my question is, do you trade for either of those players with them becoming a UFA on July 5th?
I wouldn't. I would stay the course, and I would offer them. I would go for Getzlaf. I'm a huge Corey Perry fan. I love the way he plays. He's a Brian Burke player. He's tough. He scores goals. He's fast. Just does everything great.
You know what? Good for you. Good for him. But you know what? I want a 50-goal scorer. I want Corey Perry. He is such an agitator, and they need that on the Leafs. They need it, especially on a Kessel line.
Are you going to give up Jake Gardner or a prospect?
Why would you give up anything? If you're going to sign them, you sign Perry. Never mind Getzlaf. You can't afford both.
Are we talking signing or are we talking trade?
Signing. We're talking signing right now.
If you said, would you trade for them? And I would say no. I'd wait to sign them for just money. That way we don't.
Let's just say let's just say what you said. What they're thinking is what's going to happen.
Okay.
They're like
Say
they
that-
have
say
no
that in English.
control. Okay, sorry. They have no control over where they're going to get traded, but they do have control over where they're going to sign in the summer.
Exactly.
So essentially, we're getting rent-a-players. Would you do a rent-a-player Getzlaf or a rent-a-player Corey Perry?
The thing is, the price will be high.
Exactly.
If it's tough, it depends what you're going to give up. And if you're Anaheim, you're going to want a lot. It's your two best players.
But let's say, remember
you're
last?
getting excited.
Remember, of course I am. Remember last season? At this time last season, I believe they were 8th. But
Yeah, they were
but
close.
the thing is, in the first 20 games, they were first overall, or first in the conference, or second in the conference, or something.
Not for the first 20.
Yes.
No.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure for the first couple of months they were pretty
Not
high.
first.
Oh yeah, they were pretty high. I mean, we can check that right now and confirm it, but there's no point in doing that.
Because you know you're wrong.
It doesn't matter. Anyways, the point is they were playing so well, and because it's a shortened season now, if they start playing like that and it gets to April 5th, I don't know. If you're going to be in the playoffs,